Hey, I want to welcome everybody to the Confluence Podcast. Luke, Matt, and Colin in the middle here. We are in Weaverville. We're staying at the old 49er, and we are chasing
late fall, early winter. I don't know what time of year we're at. It's
Steelhead.
cold.
Steelhead. And we got on a little late today to do a little scouting trip, and we thought we'd throw a podcast together while we're here. Got the old microphones and the Zoom because we decided not to bring the full studio with us, but we have a fun topic for us today, and we're going to talk about
what to bring and what not to bring to your next winter Steelhead trip.
Yeah.
By yourself or with us.
Yeah. So Colin has a very long list. It's a professionally made list of things that he keeps on his phone, ready to email his clients all the time. So why don't you start us off?
It is ready to go one click away.
Yeah, he's ready to go. So what's number one item?
I'm gonna start top from bottom to top. So
okay. Socks?
Yeah, exactly. No. So yeah, for me, when I'm winter steelhead fishing, quality base layers are a must. I like to layer when I'm out on the river. We can see a variety of patterns throughout the day, from cold in the morning to some sunshine and warm. And once you get your body warmed up, casting and doing things, even if you're coming up without a guide and you're walk wading, even though it is cold outside, hiking around the riverbanks, you work up a sweat. So I like to layer. So I wear a nice, pick your favorite brand underlayers. I like the Smart Wool stuff. I'll wear a Smart Wool pant layer and a top. I like to...
Makes sense.
I'm a sweatpant guy, so then I'll throw in, maybe if it's a colder day, I'll throw a pair of sweatpants over that base layer underneath.
Yeah.
And then just a dry fit kind of fishing pant. So that's kind of my bottoms.
So you wear a pair of sweats and a pair of pants on top of it?
No, 3. So like I'm wearing a base layer, Smart Wool underneath, like, legging style. What do you call those? I don't even know.
Matt calls them yoga pants.
Yeah,
he wears yoga pants.
And then I wear a pair of sweatpants to be extra cozy. And then I wear a pair of fishing pants, and that usually keeps my bottom layers pretty fine.
Okay.
And then in my top, the same kind of deal. I wear a Smart Wool top, then I wear a fishing shirt, and then I like to go a vest and then a puffy, or a vest and a rain jacket. I think a rain jacket.
Depending
so that's my
layers.
Weather. So then I can kind of take them off and then add them back through the day.
Matt, what layers do you like to wear?
Pretty similar to what Colin described. I'm a little bit more manly, so I don't wear 3 layers.
Facts.
It's true. But in any case, no statement on your manliness.
He's just going to let that linger. So,
okay.
So you don't wear 3. You wear 2.
I don't wear 3. I don't personally recommend too much underneath. I think the idea of the wool is leggings type of situation is really good as far as clothing goes. And then I like to wear a pair of guide pants, light, that stay. If they do get wet, if you start to sweat, they're going to dry out quickly if you're not in waders.
Yeah.
And that underlayer should keep you warm. And then generally we're suggesting this time of year that you have some waders that you're wearing. When I wrestled, we used to put trash bags on to lose sweat, right? Because it creates heat. Those waders are kind of akin to that.
Same thing.
So they're actually going to create and lock in heat. So that's why I don't think you want to have too many layers underneath.
Yeah.
You're going to have those waders on. And then if you want to wear more layers, I would suggest it up top. I'm not sure what a puffy is because I'm not as cool as...
Oh, the jackets that got the downs.
Jacket, like Luke's wearing one right now from Sims.
All right.
I prefer other manufacturers, but
I think
Sims one's great too.
In general, just the idea of having layers. I always, no matter time of year, recommend a windbreaker though too. Something nylon that is going to cut the wind, but it also, again, kind of, if you have some underlayers that are warmer, that overlayer of a nylon, less breathable thing, it's actually going to keep you warm because it's going to retain that heat inside.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, as far as my feet and hands go, I personally don't wear crazy big wool, thick socks. I just wear my normal, everyday, wearable cotton socks because I'm in bootfoot waders. So
they're warm.
Unlike neoprene booty waders like you typically would see, I wear a boot foot wader from Orvis that keep my feet just toasty, so no wet neoprene is ever touching my feet. So like my feet are sweating because they're so toasty down there. Where like when you wear a neoprene booty style wader that is traditional, in a boot, a wading boot on top, if you're in and out of the water and that neoprene gets wet, though it's waterproof, there's still that wetness touching your feet, and that's what actually creates the coldness. So the boot foot is nice. They're definitely a little bit more on the expensive end.
Yeah.
But if you're fishing a lot in the boat, they're not necessarily keen for walk wading.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But if you're fishing in and out of the boat, with guides throughout the fall and winter season, the boot foot waders, if you can justify
they are by far the warmest.
It is 100%. Once you go boot foot wader, you'll never go back in the wintertime.
But if you're planning on getting out, or if you don't go in the boat a lot.
They're fine for in and out of the boat.
Yeah.
In light wading around the boat, but I mean, I'm not going to go hike the McLeod River in boot foots. You know what I mean? Per se, they're perfect for winter.
That would be a fun video for us to make. Is you hiking around the McLeod,
flopping around.
I think that'd be awesome.
There's another purpose for other.
Yeah.
Places.
So you're 3 layers. You're 2.
How about you, Luke?
And then I just wear a pair of good sweat. The thing about the pants for me though is these are an Orvis pant. They're awesome. I love them. But I wish that they had the little strap at the bottom because
those must be the older model because the new
these
model
are brand new. They actually just came out. Did Orvis just change? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking to an Orvis sanctioned guide here.
They should have straps on them.
They should, shouldn't they? That's a great question. Actually, these are not Orvis. These are Patagonia.
Exactly,
I take it back.
I apologize. The Orvis ones have straps.
I forgot who I was talking to.
But what Luke really wants is the full footy.
Yeah,
you
true.
had pajamas when you were a kid.
I would do that.
Hey, you know what?
No problem with that.
You're gonna get a Snuggie for Christmas to wear on the river.
I recommend a Snuggie. I actually recommend that as a very good option. No problem with that. But I generally just do. So actually, the pants I normally wear are from the fly shop. They're like 10 years old, 8 years old, and they have the little strap. They haven't broke yet, and they're just a pair of sweats. That's all, and then a pair of good socks. So I generally just do that. I used to do the yoga pant guy thing back in the day. But now I'm more of a man than that.
Comfort.
Wait a second. Colin is the one with 3 layers.
I like comfort.
We just have 2.
I like comfort. Everyone has their own comfort level, and true. I know mine.
I think the top though, because like if you're good here, right, it's generally between 1 or 2, like probably average, But I think the nice thing about having the different layers is that it's easier to if it warms up, right? Because there's some days we start.
I personally like to have definitely the layers on top to be able to shed down to a vest.
Because we'll start. I mean, there's days that Colin and I started. I know we're like looking at each other, and it's like my rod guides are frozen, and it's 30
and you want to be
degrees
comfortable.
Or 28, yeah. But then by the afternoon,
it's warm.
It's you're like down to a sweater or something. So,
But what I really want to talk about too is moving on to the hands.
Yeah,
this is the big thing. Your hands get cold because your hands are getting wet. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell you how many times I see the kiss of death of when people show up on the river with big wool or knit or these fancy fleece fishing gloves.
Yeah.
And how many times we're catching flies on them, we're losing dexterity, and we're losing fish.
Yeah.
I don't know if about you guys, maybe you guys can chime in, but I have seen gloves cause a lot more heartbreak in the actual act of fishing in the wintertime.
I've talked to a lot of guys that will say that the glove is actually the number one reason why people lose fish.
100%.
Or for steelhead in general. Yeah, like hands down.
So what do we do to solve that?
There is this really cool glove.
This is worth the price of admission.
Yes. It is basically a mechanic's glove.
Yes. A nitrile style glove.
Yeah. You're dry all day. You can touch the fish. You can stick your hand in the water, pull it out, and you're dry the whole time. And then I think sometimes if it is super cold, in between spots, maybe you can throw on like a pair of Sims gloves just to keep warm for a little bit. But they're the secret
It's
sauce.
the move. It is the move. It's not necessarily going to make your hands smoking hot warm.
No.
But what it does,
wet.
Your hands are not wet, and you do not get the wind chill, and you still don't lose dexterity.
And yet there's more. The best part is that they are tight, so you can tie flies. You can undo knots. You can tie flies. You can get
I
your
wear
vise
them all day
out,
long.
Matt. You can have your vise on the Trinity River and tie flies. Okay, I saw you looking at me. But I wear them all day long.
You just want me to bring my vice.
I do want you to
just
bring
so
your
you can
vice.
take the video.
Matt's going to spin up bugs
Matt's
on the
such a
river
nerd.
for us.
Yeah,
while
Matt,
we're
get to
fishing.
the back.
He's
tie
not
us up
fishing.
some-
He's actually tying in the back.
Tie us up some bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those gloves are amazing for a variety of reasons. But also, too, I mean, as simple as like, you get a fish and you want to take a photo. Well, like getting your phone to respond with the other gloves is impossible,
happening.
right? Yeah, so these
Isn't
gloves
happening.
work great. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
100%.
And like what, $22
Yeah,
at
for a
Home
box.
Depot for a box of 100.
And more than likely, I mean, we didn't come up with this idea. I would probably say the vast majority of steelhead guides and guides on the Trinity have a box of nitrile gloves in their boat. And
Yeah.
I'm not speaking for every guide, but if you don't want to buy a giant box, more than likely you can ask
Generally-
your guide to share.
Yeah.
And they would gladly
While
oblige.
I'm filling out your steelhead card, I am generally handing
Yeah,
you
exactly.
a pair of
Yeah.
those gloves. They are a lifesaver. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
So-
the hands.
Okay, so we got socks, we got layers underneath, we got our hands covered. We mentioned having jackets. Also, we mentioned a rain jacket, a windbreaker, but like
Yeah.
having a good rain jacket.
A good rain
is-
jacket is a must.
Yeah, and when I say good, I don't mean like cheap, like, oh, it's brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are plenty of brand
Full
new
Gore-Tex
jackets.
waterproof rain jacket.
Yeah.
And I'll go on record
like-
as saying my best days in the Trinity where we hooked like larger number of adult fish were when it was the absolute worst conditions.
Snowing, pissing rain,
Yes, like
nasty.
the absolute worst.
That's the fish are already wet. They
Yeah.
don't know what's going on outside.
They're like,
And usually those are
"Oh."
the days they decide to get
Yeah, they're like,
Active.
I'm actually really hungry today.
Yes.
I think I'm going to eat everything that comes my way.
Is that what
Yes.
a trout?
That's
for
what
a
they
steelhead
talk
sounds
like that.
that's
Yeah,
what they're
like-
saying.
Yeah,
So I think one really important point as far as a good jacket, even if you have a rain jacket, if it doesn't have the rubberized cuffs, what's going to happen is you're going to either stick your hand in the water and then your hand's going to come up and that cold water is going to run down your arm and then it's going to run down into your armpit, which is exceptionally cold, and then it's going to run down your side.
for those of you trying to listen to him as he's holding his microphone down, what he's saying is, oh, go ahead.
Oh, is that how this works?
Yeah,
Got
this
it. All right.
You speak into this thing and
I'll pretend it's like a ice cream cone that I
Yes.
can't take out of my
That sounds
face.
great.
Yeah, that'd be realistic.
This is the worst podcast of all time. Keep listening. Okay, but you don't want to do that because the water goes.
Yeah, so if you have the rubberized cuffs, sleeves, that water's not going to roll down your arm, then down your armpit, and then down your side, which it's really, I mean, that's, you really kind of get a shock.
I mean, I've had trips where, because people didn't have the right gear, like, oh, you send them the list, right?
Yeah.
And they show up with less than the list. And then if it's really one of those days where you're on for a couple hours, then it's like, hey, can we get off early now? Because
you're going to be cold.
Yeah.
Once you get cold, it's much harder to get your body warm
and there's
again.
only so much we can do as guides to we can't gently start a fire in our boat.
No, it's not happening.
I mean, I've tried, but it didn't work.
Not so much.
That was my first boat that happened to melt. So, I think that it's worth it to invest in good gear in that way. I mean, like I always tell people, like when I was younger and I had no money, like when I was 20, 22, I'd always buy like a new rain jacket every year, from the local sports shop that was like $100 jacket. I've had the same Sims jacket for like, I don't know, it's like 7 seasons now. I have an Orvis jacket too that I've had for like 8 years. I mean, those are jackets that I'm not gonna. They basically are brand new. I mean, they are.
Yeah.
They last forever.
I have a few guide quality jackets in my closet, and they will be with me forever.
Yeah.
And
Seriously.
yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, they're worth it. So you end up saving money in the long run. Because I did the math. It was like what, $300 or $400 for one of those jackets. But at the time, it was like, oh, it's so much money.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've got 7 years on it where I would have spent $100, right? So I'm already saving money. So okay, so those good jackets. What about up top?
I try the beanie stuff, the wool caps, and I don't like them on my head. So I prefer just to wear a normal ball cap, and sometimes I'll wear just my normal sun buff and pull it up over my ears if it's cold. I don't really like anything super snug.
Yeah.
So, and I like a bill.
Yeah.
Just the glare.
For the sun.
Glare, I like to be able to see it, put my sunglasses on. Everyone's a little different. I just wear my ball cap most of the time. I do have a little fleece beanie in my boat that I'll toss on if it's real bad, but it usually doesn't last very long.
What about you, Matt? Are you a ball cap kind of guy?
I prefer the ball cap. I think one thing that we maybe don't pay as much attention to or don't understand is in the heat, right? If you want to cool down really quickly, you've got a lot of capillaries and blood vessels on your neck, right?
Hold on.
And so,
he's talking about how there's like the human body, the anatomy. I'm just trying to break it down for our listeners. So he's okay. Keep going. That's not like a Latin term for a bug, right? It's not a. No?
I was a scientific illustrator. So
See?
you have to
See?
So, yeah, I whipped out some science on you.
Yeah, I know. I was like already like, what? So wait, is that a new caddis fly? Is that a new caddis? Yeah.
Capillaries and blood vessels. And so if you want to cool down somebody really fast, right, they're kind of heat stroke or whatever, then you take something cold and you put it on their neck and it's going to cool them down quickly because there's so much blood. It's the same thing with just a simple buff. If you just wear a buff around your neck, even though it's really thin, like a sun buff, which a lot of people are already going to have, that will warm you up considerably. You'd be amazed how much just that will warm you. So something like a scarf is not a bad idea, but if you don't have a scarf with you, you forgot it or whatnot, you're probably going to have that sun buff in your other
buff
gear.
Works, yeah.
You can literally just wear that, and it makes a big difference.
Surprisingly so.
Yeah, surprisingly
I mean, it's like
so.
you put, all those little
100%.
sun buffs, I'll run them sometimes in the winter too, and I'm like fine. My face is not freezing off the whole time. So yeah. I have this sweet hat. It's like the Fargo, like ears come down fur. No, I do. I'll wear it sometimes.
I can't pull that off.
Oh man, no one can. That's why I wear it. I'm like, this hat is so. I had it when I lived in Minnesota for a long time. I was like, yeah, don't you know, you betcha, and I'd put it on.
So does the accent come out when you put on
when it goes on,
is it like
real
one
quick.
and the same?
Yeah, all of a sudden I'm
Right
you betcha a lot.
Good.
So we got waders, we got our feet covered, we got our pants, we got our layers, we got our gloves, we got our hat. What else? What is else on this list of yours?
Don't forget your sunglasses.
Don't forget your sunglasses. Why are sunglasses important, Colin, on the Trinity River?
For a few reasons. Mainly to protect your eyeballs.
Number one,
to protect your eyeballs. We're fishing in extremely tight quarters.
Yeah.
99% of the time. There are bugs flying across, above, around the boat.
Yeah.
So to protect your eyes, we do get some wicked glares out there.
Yeah.
Like, especially like
after one
lately where I've been fishing, like as soon as that sun starts to go down, that the way the river just kind of faces like the glare is just awful. And if you can't see your bobber or whatever method of fishing that we're doing at the time, if you can't see what's going on, we have no chance.
Yeah. So, other thing too, the fact that a good pair of Polaroids, I think on the Trinity,
like a low light Polaroid glasses on the Trinity is like perfect.
Yeah. Part of it too, though, is that I think there's times where when we're rowing, we're trying to like just navigate the boat to not hit rocks too hard.
Yeah.
Right. So the anglers that can like see, oh, it's a little bit deeper right there. Because 6 inches, your fly is being that much further or that much closer in can be a big deal, right? So having glasses that help you see the depths is a big part too. So safety, sun, and hey, Polaroids actually work. You can see deep.
You can actually see what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, there's cool stuff going on out there too that you don't want to miss. Like even now, the three of us today were like, "Oh man, did you see those salmon over there?" Like, you can see the fish in the water, which is part of the experience, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So that's
there's
stuff you don't want to miss.
There's a lot of cool things in that there river.
There's a lot of cool things.
Yeah, it's true. Capillaries. I don't know.
Capillaries.
So okay, what's the final? Like, what do they have to have? We got anything else? Is that we covered it all?
When they come fish with me?
I don't know. Yeah. With you. What's on your list?
So one thing, let me pipe in here, is you can get those little packets that you punch. and they stay warm.
Oh yeah,
for
the
a
little
long
warm
time.
packets, little hot hands or whatever they're called.
Yeah, and I've had clients use those. I try to keep some on the boat during the winter, and they really do help people, especially if their hands get cold. You can also like drop them in their boots or whatever if their feet are cold.
They work really well with the nitrile gloves.
Yeah, so
you can actually warm your hands.
They're
you know, that might be something that sort of a peripheral thing that you might not think of. That's not really expensive. That you know could make you a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, and they have them in every sports shop.
Yeah,
in
they're
the world.
everywhere.
Yeah,
they're everywhere.
That's great. What about you? Last thing.
Don't forget your fishing license, Steelhead report card.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah, don't do that because it happens sometimes. Colin and I were on a trip recently. He had to leave, and I got to go.
I've had a few.
Yeah,
this year.
My thing in my boat, I like to have. I don't know if you got, but you always bring warm coffee in a thermos.
I usually do. Yeah. I'd probably say 90% of the time. Yeah, I'm gonna have a thermos of warm coffee in my boat this winter.
Yeah. I have a jet boil.
Kind of a new tradition.
I pull over. We make French press. It's like, and hot chocolate for with the younger folk.
So. Yeah. It's having a warm, and feel free, you could bring your own.
Yeah.
Like when people bring their own thermoses too, I think that's a smart idea.
It is.
You know, obviously we got the colder drinks on board, but having a nice warm beverage a couple hours into the day is a nice little.
Yeah. Well, that's a good list. So, yeah, we wanted to take a few minutes here in between our little trip here and let you know some different things you can plan on bringing to a winter steelheading trip because they can definitely save you, make your day more enjoyable. If you are interested in getting out with us at Confluence Outfitters, we'd love to have you hit us up at confluenceoutfitters.com. You can also find us on
Instagram,
okay,
Facebook,
YouTube.
Ooh, look at you guys. Matt's going to be running our Twitter account eventually.
Yeah.
So
right. It's X. It's X. Now.
Sorry.
LinkedIn and X.
Yeah, our LinkedIn and our X.
Because I have scientific words.
Yeah, I don't know. And our Snapchat. I don't know. All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.